So I know you and I chatted back in like October
Yes.
about your hormones and you
Uh-huh.
had done a Dutch test so what have you learned just as a 48-year-old woman about your hormones, your profile, and how they've shown up?
Yeah. So I'm still in the midst of wanting to make sure that everything's good. And the more research I've been doing on hormones, the more I've learned. It's like, wow, this is a moving target.
It's such a moving target. She's right.
And it's one of those things where I actually found like reading all of this amazing books by amazing scientists going like, wow, so we really don't have a really good test. And some people actually prefer the Dutch. They don't like it at all.
I know some people don't.
Absolutely. And some people are like, okay, the most accurate is going to be blood test. And guess what? It's constantly moving throughout the month. So we're just going to have to approximate. So what I've been doing for myself is really at this moment, I'm like, okay, how am I feeling? How am I showing up? What's happening? Because there was a couple of years ago where I was like, I knew something was wrong. And I think as women, we know this. You're like, something's not okay.
Yeah.
Something's not right. Something's different than it used to be. And when we checked levels a few years ago, I was like, yep, shit's off. Now, my most recent test is everything. They're like, you're actually looking pretty good.
Oh, so is everything feeling okay is working?
Yes, it is working.
Okay.
And for me personally, what I know is my kryptonite is stress. It's so, yes. And so over the past, I would say 3 to 5 years, I have been working so intently from a really loving place to strip away some of my own, what I know to be dysfunctional thought patterns, behavior patterns, kind of self-punishing patterns that I've just had since as long as I can remember. And I've realized how my hormones are impacted by that.
Okay, so I have a theory on this.
Okay, I want to hear it.
Yeah. So I think of your hormones as they adapt to every environment you put yourself in. So if you put yourself in a peaceful environment, your hormones are like, okay, we can come out now. If you put yourself in a stressful environment, they're like, ooh, we're in a crisis. We're not reproducing right now. There's no need for these sex hormones that are right now.
Yes.
If we're eating toxic food, same thing. We're bringing up cortisol and we're making ourselves insulin resistant, and that environment starts to throw all our hormones off.
Yes.
So the stress, I strongly feel, is the most important thing for balancing hormones, because each environment you put yourself in that's massively stressful, the hormones are going to adapt. And if you stay in that environment for months and years, your hormones are going to tank.
Yeah.
So I would say as a postmenopausal woman, I'm finally getting to this place where I'm like, peace and rest and relaxation and regulating myself is my hormonal plan.
Yes. This is so huge. Again, I think especially for high achieving, ambitious, creative women, it's like we have been on overdrive for men. I'll speak for myself. Literally for decades. And for various reasons, feeling like if I am not handling everything, it's not going to get handled. If I'm not responsible for everything, it's all going to fall apart. And if I'm not getting everything else, it was like, I'm going to fall apart. And so these past few years for me have been so utterly enlightening, just listening to my own inner environment and being really, really aware of when I'm tiptoeing back to old patterns. And then stepping away. Like put my hands up and going like, nope, you ain't going there anymore. Because it's not worth it. Like nothing, there's no amount of money, there's no amount of accolades, there's no amount of achievement that is worth my health and my peace of mind. And I just have found that I'm actually way more creative. I feel so much better. I feel like my skin's, everything's better when I'm not a freaking stressed out maniac.
So, oh no, it's so simple. But here's what happens with stress and muscle, because when you go after 40, all of a sudden your sex hormones are start to go on this decline, and your ovaries are like, hey, not a lot of eggs in the air. Like, we're going to slow down production, but you still need some sex hormones. But we're going to go into retirement. So we're going to hand this job over to another organ. So you know who they hand it over to?
Who do they hand it to?
The adrenal gland.
Oh, wonderful.
And the adrenals are like over there,
like they've not been doing a lot for
like gripping on. And they're like, what?
They're white knuckling.
Yeah. And they're like, I have to make estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone now. Like, I can't do that. We've been running from a tiger for like 3 decades now. And now you want me to make sex hormones? And so they pretty much say like, fuck you to the sex hormones.
You can go fuck yourself.
They say to the ovaries, go fuck yourself. You retire all on your own. And I'm going to be over here managing stress. So the minute you let go of that stress and you tell the adrenals like, hey, it's okay. We're not running from the tiger anymore.
Yeah.
You can relax. I'm okay. They now are more willing to look at the adrenals and be like, hey, you've been working really hard. You deserve a rest. You can go into retirement like you're a diva, like you've been popping out this egg every month, like, bravo, I've just been over here trying to manage cortisol, but you like actually manifest this egg, few humans along the way. I might be willing to help you now.
Amazing.
That's what happens, literally.
Dude, I love this. I love this so much.
Yeah.
I feel like my poor adrenals, like I want to give them a hug.
I know. Yeah, right? Wouldn't that
Yeah.
be great? And be like, they're kind of hard to hug. You can do like a little squeeze on.
Energetic.
A little energetic hug.
No, but I think the stress thing is so real. And we live in such an environment right now, from my point of view, that is so at odds with how we're meant to thrive, between all of the interruptions and the pings and the dings and the notifications and all of the incoming and our environments and the toxic, it's just like, bam. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. And so, but for us to be empowered and to say, oh, actually, no, I'm not going to live in that. We've talked about this before on your show, my notion of time genius, where so many of us, we don't even realize that we're stuck in this world of time stress. Yeah. For me, that was a big one, and creativity and achieving and all that stuff. But it's like, we have a choice. We do not have to live that way.
That's right.
That's the point.
And I think I would say, like, I hear you say that, and like my mind knows that that's logical. But I think what a lot of people would say is, yeah, now you got to show me. How do I live in a world where I'm not having to just keep performing and keep doing time over and being stuck to the clock and to the have to?
Yeah, no, I think, first of all, I think it's a process. Again, we'd had a conversation. We could have another conversation about that too. I mean, it's very much, I think, like going to the gym. Like, you're not going to go and lift weights once and then have all of this incredible muscle that's going to last you to the rest of your life. It's like, no. We go back to the gym and we continue practicing and showing up to build. And from my experience of my own, again, I know how to stress myself out so good. I'm such a professional at it. So I have a lot of experience here. It feels really like a practice, and a really fun one. Yeah. Because life is so precious, and it is possible. It's not going to happen perfectly every day. Right. The shiitake will hit the fan. The dog's going to throw up. Technology's going to fit. There's a whole bunch of shit that's
pandemics will happen.
Oh my God. Shit shows are guaranteed. Yeah. However, we have some control over our inner environment. Yeah. And I think that's the place where we need to build that muscle.
And what's interesting about that is, in the adrenals working so hard, when they're exhausted, they break muscle down so that they can get the nutrients. They share the same nutrients. So literally, like a video like this, you could be like, okay, I need to strength train more. I need to eat more protein, and I need to balance my hormones. And now you've just added another to-do list. And so I think we probably actually should have started with stress as being the biggest thing you need to manage if you want to preserve muscle as you start to age.
Well, here's the cool thing that I found in my experience. I actually love where we started, because when I lift weights, or to be perfectly honest, I do any fairly intense workout where I am strength training, and even though if it's in the form of yoga or in the form of dance, like, we're still building muscle just in a different way, I walk out feeling so much instantly less stressed and with a deeper, broader perspective on what really matters.
They go hand in hand.
They really do. So I feel like those things are very complementary. Yeah. And you feel like, oh, I don't really have the time. It's like, you don't need to spend 3 hours in the fucking gym. Yeah. It's like, you do it for 30 minutes, even if you're just starting, you're going to feel like a rock star. Yeah. And all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I see all these new possibilities. I got that protein. Let me add.
I love that. Yeah.